Hey there Dev Squad, Ryan here. In this video, we're going to get started on creating our Find Servers UI. We're going to create a few widgets and get the logic set up for one of them. So let's get started. First, we're going to go inside of our UI folder and we're going to create a new folder called Searching. And under our Searching, we're going to create two widgets. Let's go down to User Interface, Widget Blueprint, and the two we're going to create is Find Servers Scroll Box. Oh, no spaces. Find Servers Scroll Box. Okay, and then we're going to copy this one and find Servers button. Okay, and then back here in our UI, we're going to create another widget blueprint, and we're going to name this Find Servers. Okay, so let's open up our Find Servers button. And let's just start by creating the basic outline for what this button is going to look like. So we're going to grab a horizontal box, which is just going to allow us to align our widgets from left to right. We're going to anchor this to the top. We're going to set the position X and Y to 0. And that's it. So now we need a button. Just throw this into the box. We need a text, which we're going to throw inside of our button. And then we're going to get a couple more texts actually. So let's throw one in. Looks like we need 7 of them. So let's just paste 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. And the first one, we're just going to put a line right here, if it'll let me type. There we go. And this thing right here is just a vertical bar. So we're just going to copy this one, and we're going to put this in between each one of the texts. So we can do one right there, and one on the end here. Okay? So this one right here is going to be our map name. This one's going to be the server name. And then this one is going to be the amount of players that are currently in there and the amount of players that the server will hold. So we can just throw some test text in there. Let's just name this test map. Next one can be server name. And the next one, we'll just put 1 out of 5. Okay, so that's looking good. Let's change our text over here to join. And all right, so we can save and compile that. And now we're going to go into our graph, and we're going to create a new function. Let's create a custom event, and let's just name this init. And what init is going to do is whenever this widget is created, which we're going to do dynamically during the game, it will load all of the settings into the text that we just created here. So we actually want to create 3 new variables, all strings. Okay, and the first one is going to be map name. Second one is going to be server name. And actually, we're going to create 2 more variables. Let's just do 2 integers. Right there. Let's name this current players and max players. Okay. So now that we have that, we're just going to set the map name, set the server name, set the current player count, and set max players. Okay. And one more thing we need to add to this actually is we need a session reference, which is just going to be a blueprint session result. So session reference, and then blueprint session result. There we go. We can set that here as well. and then we're just going to connect all of these, and then we're going to drag each one of them into our init function, which will add an input for it. Okay. So now we're going to set up the function for actually joining the servers. And to do that, we're just going to go back to our designer, find our button, scroll down, find onReleased, and then we're going to use this onReleased event to cast to the game mode, or the game instance rather. So get game instance, and then we're going to cast to our multiplayer game instance. And then from here, we're just going to join server. And for our player controller, we can get owning player, and then we're going to get player controller ID and get player controller. Then we're just going to plug this into our player controller, and then our session reference is going to be our search result. And that's it for the functionality in this one, except for we need to add some binds to our text. So let's just go over and click on our test map, bind, create binding, and then we're just going to set this to map name. And then we're going to create another one for our server name. And we could just click that, but we're not going to, just in case you wanted to add something that limited the amount of characters that could be put into the map name. So if someone, well, rather, if someone set their server name to something like 50 characters, you could cut it down right here. That way it doesn't mess up the way that your widget looks. So that's why we're going to use these binding functions rather than just binding them to the variable themselves. So let's just drag the server name out there, plug that in, save and compile. And the last one we're going to do is this player count right here. Create another binding. And then we're going to get current players, get max players. We're going to toString from the return value, append, add a pin. And then right here we're going to do a /, and then we're just going to plug in current players and max players. Save and compile that. And we can go ahead and close out of this one. And we're going to jump into our find server scroll box. There we go. So open this one up. And inside of the scroll box, what we're going to do is we're going to create an overlay. And we want this overlay to be anchored everywhere. So we're just going to do it like that. Just going to set the offset to 0, 0, 0, and 0. And then inside of our overlay, we're going to put a border. In this border, we're going to vertically align all the way to the top and horizontally align all the way over. And then we're going to set this to something more like a black almost. Okay. So now we want to add a scroll box. So let's find scroll box in our widget, put it inside of our border. Okay. And now just to test out that our scroll box is working correctly, we can grab our find servers button and we can pop this into our scroll box. And as you can see, it's working perfectly. So we can paste a couple of these just so we can have a reference to what it'll look like. That's perfect. Save and compile that. And next, we're going to jump into our find servers UI. There we go. And inside here, we're going to add another overlay. Drag this out, anchor it everywhere. Set the offset to 0 again. And then we're going to do another border. which is going to be all over again. So we'll just do that. And then this border is going to be lighter gray. Oh, wrong thing. We need a brush color. Let's do something like that. Okay. And then we're going to find our scroll box. Find server scroll box. And actually, we want to put this on our canvas panel. We can do that. Drag this out again. Oh, looks like our border is in the wrong place. We want this find server scroll box inside of our canvas panel. And we can just drag this out. We're going to anchor it to the middle. And then we're just going to kind of drag this out and get it a little bit bigger. Let's maybe set the size X to 800 by 800. And then we'll do negative 400 by negative 400. Okay. Next, we're going to add a button. We can drag this out into our canvas panel. We're going to drag this down here and duplicate it. There we go. Okay, and we're going to drag this other button down here and put it about right there. Okay, and then both of these need to be anchored to the bottom. We're just going to anchor them right there and right there. Now let's get some text, throw them into both of these. The first text is going to be host, and the second one is going to be search. Okay. We can save and compile these again. Let's make sure these buttons are a little bit bigger so they can actually fit the text in them. And then let's make sure that they're the same size, so 100 by, let's say, 50. And then let's make this one 100 by 50 as well. Okay, looks like we need to make it a little bit bigger, so let's maybe do 115 on both of these. Okay, so we can save, compile. So that's the end of this video, everyone. I hope you learned something new. In the next video, we'll be finishing up our Find Server's blueprint functionality. Thanks for watching, stay awesome, and keep creating.